Hello, I'm Colleen Zimmerman and my partner is Adriana Torres, and today we will be presenting our final PharmaSim results for Team 7. A quick overview of our presentation today. We'll be starting off with our original marketing plan objectives. We'll go over the performance results, the factors that led to our success, our ending position for the company, and finally, we'll have some time at the end to go over final takeaways and our summary. So with that, Adriana is going to take you through the marketing plan objectives and performance results.
So we decided for our segmentation for our initial marketing objectives is that we would segment the market by family demographics. We picked two target markets, which were the retired segment as well as the young single segment. Our objectives were based off of mostly these segments as well as our overall sales and releasing a line extension. So objective 1 was increase the brand share for young singles by at least 2% by the end of the simulation. Objective 2 was maintain or increase customer loyalty for the retirement segment throughout the simulation. Objective 3, expand all-around market presence by releasing a line extension of a 12-hour multi-symptom capsule by period 4. And objective 4 was increase all-around overall sales by 4% by the end of the simulation. And for our marketing tactics, we used the 4 Ps. So product, we wanted to create the line extension of a 12-hour multi-symptom capsule. Pricing, keep the pricing as is for all-around products. And promotion, increase the amount of coupons to appeal to the retired segment. And start an advertising campaign with commercials for social media to attract the young singles target segment. And finally, placement. Focus on grocery and chain drug stores for our distribution, sales, and promotion budgets. So halfway through PharmaSim, we were asked to do a management audit, and within that audit, we updated some of our marketing objectives. So we noticed that we needed to narrow our target market to just retired segments. Our broad previous target market made it challenging to make focused decisions. And going forward, this adjustment helped to focus our strategy and be consistent. And so the other main strategy we decided to update and change was our placement. We wanted to add a larger focus to mass merchandising by increasing its promotion and sales force. And as you can see in the market share based on retail sales, our mass merchandising was slowly going up towards 7, 8, 9, and 10 periods. And our grocery still remained up top, which we decided to keep as number 1 for our sales force and placement strategies.
Thank you, Adriana. So as a result of updating some of the objectives, we wanted to put together a chart to see how we actually performed relative to our marketing strategy objectives. So our first objective was to increase the young singles brand share by 2%. Did we meet that objective? No, we did not. And most of that is because of what Adriana just stated, that halfway through the simulation, we decided we didn't really want them to be our target market anymore because we were also focused on the retirement segment as well. And by removing this from our strategy, I think that helped to improve our sales at the last half of PharmaSim. Objective 2 is to increase the loyalty for the retirement segment. Yes, we did meet this objective. We actually increased brand share, so it was 25.5% in the beginning of the simulation, and it increased to 36.6% at the end of the simulation. And yes, we do believe this improved our performance. So because we were more focused on our strategy later on, focusing just on the retirement segment helped us to make decisions on advertising and promotions. This especially helped with one of our special decisions related to coupons. And also, I think we had a commercial that applied more to the retirement segment. Our third objective was to release a 12-hour multi-symptom capsule line extension. Yes, we did meet this objective. And yes, I think this definitely helped to improve our performance. Because we had such a specific goal set in our original marketing plan, throughout the simulation, we weren't distracted by other options to reformulate our brand or to create additional line extensions. Because we decided to only focus on one line extension, that helped us to better manage our resources and our total budget, and we weren't spending extra money on making new formulations throughout the simulation. So our final objective was to increase sales by greater than or equal to 4%. Yes, we did meet that objective. And honestly, based on the results, we think it was probably a little too conservative. We actually increased our total sales by 38% over the course of the simulation. We believe this was successful due to many factors. However, advertising was a big factor in improving our sales, which I will go over in the next slide. So some of our key success factors throughout the simulation, as you can see, we weren't successful the whole time. You can see in the chart to the right on the stock price. We started off kind of dropping right off the bat, but we made up for it by the end. One of the main factors for that was to read the market update. The first two periods, we didn't really pay attention to the market update that much, honestly. And we found that was a big mistake. And reading the market update exposed a lot of information that was helpful for making decisions in the future. We also found it was helpful to start each period with the special decision. The special decision sometimes played into other decisions we made in that round. So starting off with that helped us to figure out how much budget was left after we made that decision. So we found that was helpful and led to our success. Next, advertising is key. And we learned this the hard way. We took out some advertising budget from All Around when we introduced All Around Plus, and it led to a huge drop in both stock price and our sales. So we changed that going forward. As you can see, periods 8, 9, and 10 is when we really were consistent with our advertising and put more advertising on All Around than All Around Plus, and that led to increased sales and stock price. So we found that sales force placement was also crucial as well to align it more accurately to our goals. Don't overthink it. So we, in the beginning of the simulation, or kind of in the middle, after we dropped in the beginning, we spent the most time making decisions in periods 5, 6, and those were periods we dropped significantly. As you can see in my little bubbles below, so we were analyzing there, or over-analyzing. We spent too much time tweaking every single detail, and then after we saw the results, we weren't sure what was driving the decrease in stock price because we were just changing too many things. So finally, in periods 8, 9, and 10, we decided to kind of go more with our instinct, stick to our strategy, and try and remain consistent, and that led to much better results. And that also ties into my last bullet point, that consistency can pay off. Don't change too many things, because then that mixed with the external factors, you just really can't figure out what's quite going on. So with that, hand it back to Adriana to talk about our final company position at the end of the simulation.
Thank you, Colleen. So we exceeded our sales goal by $131.5 million. Our ending sales were $406.3 million for All Around and $122.5 million for All Around Plus, for a total sales of $528.8 million, which is 139% sales increase from period 0. As you can see with the manufacturer sales chart to the right. And despite our ups and downs, the stock price remained relatively consistent. The beginning stock price was $37.81, and our final stock price at the end of period 10 was $37.16. And so from a stock price perspective, we left the company in about the same position as we found it. Relative to other companies, we performed well over the 10 periods. Again, consistency pays off, and that's basically what our stock price was. And we also feel that we left the company in a positive position for the future, especially with the increased rate of our manufacturer sales. It seems that if we were to continue with the simulation, we would just continue to increase those sales exponentially with at least how our graph is going right now. So, Colleen, do you want to go and discuss our takeaways?
Yes. So to summarize, we had some final takeaways after going through the simulation process. So as I kind of mentioned with our key success factors, sometimes going with your gut does pay off, but also sometimes it doesn't. In the beginning of the simulation, we went with our gut the first 2 periods and our stock dropped. But then at the end, we went with our gut and it increased. So really there are a lot of things at play in like the real world. Sometimes you just really don't know what's going to happen. So another takeaway is to allocate enough money towards advertising, which is something I touched on before as well. If you take money away from your core product, you might lose some of your loyalty from your customers. So make sure to keep enough advertising budget so you're not going to see a decrease in sales. Also ties into my third point, don't ignore your core product. That's what people know your brand for. So if you ignore that, that's probably going to be reflected in your stock price later on. Finally, this one's extremely important. External factors will impact your strategy. So as we learned through the market updates every single period, sometimes what other competitors are doing or the rate of inflation or lots of other external factors, it will impact what you have to do related to your promotion, your price, your placement, and your product. So always keep the external factors in mind, but also keep your strategy in mind. And I think aligning those things together, it was what really drove success for our team, which ties into my last point. It's okay to update your strategy along the way. Life isn't constant, and the simulation was not constant, so we didn't feel it was right to keep our strategy constant as well. So we updated our strategy halfway through, and that definitely was reflected in our improved performance going forward. So I think keeping everything in mind, keeping in mind the 4 Ps throughout the simulation and the other success factors we mentioned before led to our all-round brand success at the end of the simulation. So although this was just a simulation, Adriana and I learned a wealth of information about marketing in general throughout this process. So thank you for taking the time to listen to our presentation. We hope you learned something along the way as well.
Thank you.